Hello and welcome to this episode of Political Adda, where we take up important political issues of the week and we try to decipher it for our viewers. Today, we have taken up the political crisis that has been unfolding in Rajasthan. We have the Ashok Gehlot camp versus the Sachin Pilot camp. Both are eyeing the chief minister position at the same time. In the backdrop of all this, we have the important elections for the post of the Congress president. So what does it all mean? What does it mean for the party? What does it mean for the opposition Bharatiya Janata Party? We will try and take up questions that you have sent to us, and our esteemed analyst will try and answer that for you. I'm joined by my colleague DK Singh, who's the political editor of ThePrint, to give you the ground coverage, what exactly is happening on the spot. I'm also joined by Abhishek, who is currently in Jaipur, and I am Neelam Pandey. Abhishek, can you tell us a little bit what exactly is happening there?
In Jaipur, the situation at this point seems to be very volatile because a lot of things have happened in a very short span of time. A lot of meetings are taking place, and the two key players, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and Mr. Sachin Pilot, haven't yet said anything in public. Like so far as we have seen so far, the Congress High Command seems to have come down very heavily on the Gehlot camp. We have seen Mr. Marken very specifically talk about that when on Sunday a Congress legislature party meeting was scheduled at the CM's residence, then why did a parallel meeting take place at Mr. Shanti Dhariwal's residence, which was attended by a whole lot of MLAs. And at the end of that meeting, we witnessed more than 90 MLAs tendering their resignations. Now, of course, those resignations were not in the right format. They were more of a symbolic thing, but they did kind of send a message. And then the group which attended meeting in Mr. Dhariwal's residence, the pro-Gehlot group, or we can call it the Ashok Gehlot loyalists, they also came up with a lot of specifically, broadly three conditions. They said that, if he has to, that the new CM has to happen, has to be somebody from the pro-Gehlot camp. It can't be from the camp which had tried to rebel in 2020, indicating that it can't be from Sachin Pilot's camp. They also put forward another condition. The second one was that when the emissaries of the High Command, they come and approach MLAs, they can't do it individually. They should do it in group. And they also said that why should we leave now? I mean, this decision on leaving the decision to the party High Command or of choosing the next CM can happen. Why can't it happen after 19th October? 19th October is the date when the Congress president election is supposed to happen. Now, we have seen Mr. Ajay Marken, who is the Congress Central Teams, the Rajasthan in charge, very specifically say that this is indiscipline, this is gross indiscipline, and this kind of conditions result in conflict of interest. We eventually also saw some of the Ashok Gehlot loyalists, retaliate, saying that Mr. Marken is being partial in this whole thing. But then we also saw a lot of senior Congress leaders like Margaret Alva count down heavily on the Gehlot camp. Now, it does send a message. And we have also seen the dynamics slowly changing. From now, we see that this whole thing is slowly shifting towards from a Ashok Gehlot versus Sachin Pilot fight to something like a Ashok Gehlot versus a Gandhis. In the last few hours, we have seen a few MLAs, a few Rajasthan MLAs, who are either Congress MLAs or independent MLAs who back the Congress, release short video clips. And very importantly, these were MLAs who attended the parallel meeting at Mr. Shanti Dhariwal's residence on Sunday, along with the pro-Gehlot camp. So now they are seemingly changing their opinion, and they're saying, I think we consider the Congress High Command is supreme, and whatever they say, we should accept, and all should accept. So this is pretty much a summary of what has been going pretty much a summary of what's been going on on the ground.
So I would like to add something here, but before that, let me correct my introduction that you gave me. I'm not an esteemed analyst. I'm a hardcore reporter, and I'm just relaying to our viewers, to everybody, what I learned from political leaders. So there's not much of analyst in me here. A reporter who is just transmitting what he learns from others. So that's all. Coming to what Abhishek has said. Yes, it is turning out to be a fight between the way it has been projected, it's becoming Gehlot versus the Gandhis.
Right.
Gehlot has not said a word against Gandhis, mind you, but the way it's being projected. And, Gehlot has said that he had nothing to do with this rebellion. Mm-hmm. But nobody would buy it, of course. He's talking about Shanti Dhariwal. Shanti Dhariwal is somebody who has been a minister in all Gehlot-led governments with very prominent portfolios. He's very close to Gehlot. You look at the people who are talking, who started talking in favor of, or when the people who were saying that, okay, it should be, this entire process should be completed after Ashok Gehlot becomes the new president. They're all Gehlot loyalists. So for Ashok Gehlot, it's very difficult to brush his hands off this rebellion.
Right.
Now, what it has done, you can say, it's like shooting yourself in the foot. Because everything seemed so well placed. Ashok Gehlot, in Rajasthan, you have these alternate governments every 5 years. In November, December, there could be a government change, whether Congress would come back or not. I mean, nobody can say anything for sure. But then governments keep changing every 5 years there. But Ashok Gehlot would become national president of the Congress for 5 years from today. And then, of course, he would decide who would become the ministers in Sachin Pilot government, who would be the district president of the party, who would control the thing. So a chief minister won't be taking on the national president. Ashok Gehlot was getting something better.
Right.
But as I was just about half an hour back, I was talking to one of the central leaders. He said, as you say in journalism, that, we want to make you the editor-in-chief of a newspaper, but you are insisting on being the bureau chief of the paper in some state. So as the central leader was telling me that, I was actually asking him why Ashok Gehlot, such a sharp political brain, would do something that would be projected as defiance of the Congress High Command, of the Gandhis. And that leader tells me, it's like Vinash Kale Viprit Buddhi. So it comes to the time of destruction.
Yes.
You actually do just opposite of, what you should be doing.
Right.
I mean, something like that. It's not the exact translation. Anyway, so many people are questioning why is Gehlot doing that? Because what has happened after that even earlier it was almost a given that he files the nomination papers as the Congress president and he'll be elected. Shashi Tharoor will be there, but Ashok Gehlot it would be a walkover actually for him.
Right.
But not so anymore, because now the perception is that Ashok Gehlot was trying to defy the high command. And actually, what I am given to understand, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, they are all very upset. Once that signal goes, then you filing nomination papers as Congress president does it give you that guaranteed walkover? Mm-hmm. Now, there may be more, and then there may be some other candidate who may be projected as Gandhi's man, because Ashok Gehlot right now is not being seen as Gandhi's man, somebody who has defied the Gandhis.
Which it was a few days back.
So suddenly things have changed and Ashok Gehlot is on the back foot. He may not even get the chief minister of his choice now. We don't know for sure, but it's looking very difficult. Because look at maybe 90 MLAs submitted their resignation to the speaker. Of course, the resignation was not in proper format. It was just symbolic. It was just supposed to deliver a message. But they are there because, Ashok Gehlot is getting all these people around him today, in today's context, is because everybody is expecting him to become the next Congress president. So MLAs would come around you because now you think that Ashok Gehlot would take care of you. There would be no disciplinary action against you. Nothing will happen against you. And then you go with him. So even if Sachin Pilot becomes the chief minister, Gehlot would decide or Gehlot would have enough say to get the ministerial appointments. They would be in the government. And that's why they are all around you.
Right.
And these MLAs also know, look, Ashok Gehlot in his 70s, and in politics, all these people salute the rising sun. Now with Gehlot, I mean, they won't be seeing their future, say 10 years down the line, so they would go with the next leader. And once the projection comes that you are defying the high command and you may not even become the Congress president in the given circumstances, then the same people may start changing their, what you call the loyalty to whatever leader they're attached with right now. So things will start changing very rapidly. And in fact, it's very interesting how Sachin Pilot has played his card now. Because you heard Gehlot, there was a time when Sachin Pilot had gone on rebellion with 18 MLAs. Ashok Gehlot, you then called him a traitor, a gaddar and all that. Now things have changed. Look at how Sachin Pilot has dealt with it. He's totally silent. He's not saying a word, in fact, about what is happening, who is on which side. And mind you, when Sachin Pilot had rebelled, he had rebelled against Ashok Gehlot. But when Ashok Gehlot is doing it now, it is being seen as something against the Gandhis. And that's very damaging for Ashok Gehlot, somebody who has been a Gandhi family loyalist for decades, all his life. It's very damaging.
We will also be taking questions from our viewers. Hitesh Nautiyal has a question for you. He wants to know, what are the chances of the Aam Aadmi Party in Rajasthan, and do you think BJP will portray Vasundhara as the only mass leader in the state?
See, before I come to that, a very interesting thing, because the question, the original question we had given, the question was about,
can a new party president restore
the high command's writ?
Yeah.
And that was in the context of what was supposed to be a sure shot election of Ashok Gehlot as the new Congress president. And after 24 years, you would have you would have a non-Gandhi as the Congress president. And that was why this question about the high command, also in the context of how the high command's authority seems to be waning. One after another chief minister kind of defying you. We saw it in Punjab, now we are witnessing here. So in that context, before I come to that AAP question, I just would like to address that main question about high command's writ. So if you look at the history of the Congress, so the high command has not always been, or had mostly been centered in one individual. As Chidambaram, I don't know how many of you have read Chidambaram's column in the Indian Express the other day. He made a very interesting point. He was saying that, in Congress, there was always a leader and a president. So the leader is somebody who actually provides leadership to the people, shares his vision with them, and gets votes for the party. And the president is somebody who fixes the nut bolts of the organization, fixing responsibilities on leaders, keep the party kind of well-oiled, party machinery. That's the president's job. But if you look at the history of the Congress, mostly the leader has been the high command. High command is not always one individual. High command is kind of the most powerful or the people who take the decisions at the top. It can be a group of people. But in the Congress, it has generally been one individual right from Mahatma Gandhi's time. Mahatma Gandhi was not holding any post in 1939, if you recall, but he forced Subhash Chandra Bose to resign as the Congress president. So Mahatma Gandhi was the high command as long as he was alive. After his death, if you look at this, you had many other people. It was not that Nehru was the high command. So you saw how, Jawaharlal Nehru wanted Rajaji as the first president of India. Then Patel intervened and ensured that Rajendra Prasad becomes one. But then after Patel's death, in fact in 1950 you see, when Patel was still alive, a few months before his death, when there was this huge dispute over the election of the next president of the Congress, when P.D. Tandon was being favored by Patel and Nehru did not want him, and Nehru actually propped up the candidature of J.V. Kripalani. But Tandon defeated Kripalani, and then after a few months Patel passed away, and then Nehru forced Tandon to resign in 1951, about a year later.
Right.
Because he got Congress CWC members to resign, and then finally, Tandon had to resign. From then on, Nehru became the high command. Immediately afterwards, of course, from 51 to 55, I think he was the Congress president also and the Prime Minister also, but that centralized and that one individual becoming the high command. So after Mahatma Gandhi was not there. You had a set of other very, influential leaders, top leaders of the party who would take decisions. Sometimes there would be differences. Sometimes one will have the say. Sometimes the other will have the say. You have a set of such leaders. From 51 onwards, you see this high command, one individual becoming the high command. So when Chidambaram gives the example that, between 1921 and 48, there were 14 Congress presidents. So Mahatma Gandhi was the leader. These Congress presidents were looking after the organization. And a very interesting article he has written. Then he says that between 48 and 64, Nehru was the leader. And there were 7 Congress presidents.
Right.
And then he goes on to say that, from 65 to 84, Indira Gandhi was the leader. And there were 8 Congress presidents. But go through the thread, all through. You had one leader who was the high command, who had the final say, except for certain period, when Patel and other leaders were there basically. 51 onwards, we saw that change. Once Nehru was not there, once he passed away, Indira Gandhi, the kind of resistance she felt. So it was not like Indira Gandhi was immediately the high command. You had the syndicate, you had many senior leaders actually who had a say in the running of the organization and in the government too. But after that 69, a split in the Congress, Indira Gandhi became the high command, that individual. And that has continued. Then Rajiv. Again from, 91 onwards, you had this period where, Gandhi was not there. You have somebody like Narasimha Rao who could be the high command, but you had a set of very senior influential leaders who would actually ensure that it was not just Rao who was taking all the decisions. They very much mattered. You again from 98 onwards, there you see when Sitaram Kesri was ousted, Sonia Gandhi became the leader. That leader or the high command was just one person, the Gandhi. Or now you can say the Gandhis. But after this presidential election, there's a big question mark whether there will be one individual or a family who would be the high command. Because in the family today, Gandhi family, there is no leader. Congress does not have any leader today. Even if you look at Chidambaram's definition of a leader, somebody who provides leadership to the people, gets votes for the party. There is nobody in the Gandhi family today. Then when he defines the Congress president's role as somebody who fixes the nut bolts in the organization, makes it a well-oiled machinery, there is nobody in the Congress today. Would that change once the new Congress president is in place? Now, given Gehlot's, the experience as, he was the chief minister, he was a state Congress president, he has held so many portfolios. Right. There was some expectation that once he becomes a Congress president, probably after a while, after 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, he would start asserting himself. So he may not be the leader, the vote catcher, but probably as an organization man, he would play a different role.
Right.
And he would be more assertive. Now we'll see who comes next. If Gehlot is not there, he has not formally said that, but if he's not there, whoever comes next, we will see how things work out.
So we'll come back to Hitesh Nautiyal's question, who talked about, what are the chances of AAP in Rajasthan, and at the same time, will BJP portray, Vasundhara Raje as the biggest mass leader? I'll just like to add that, in this entire political crisis, BJP has been, maintaining a close watch, but at the same time, no active, action is being considered in terms of, forming government the way it was when there was a rebellion by Sachin Pilot. So there is a difference in that. But at the same time, the state unit feels that, this entire rebellion has come at a time when, you have elections just a year later in 2023. So they feel that this will all add to the anti-incumbency factor of the government. At the same time, this will also have some bearing on, the Rajasthan BJP, because so far Vasundhara Raje is definitely the strongest mass leader the party has. But if, because of this rebellion, if elections become a one-sided affair, then, the claims of the central leadership that we can fight elections under collective leadership, that will get a greater push than, positioning Vasundhara Raje, as her supporters have been pitching for, as the chief ministerial candidate. So, but all that is for the future. So far, the BJP has been maintaining a very a spectator-like position where it is taking pot shots at the Congress. But the focus of the BJP so far is that it should, strengthen itself organizationally. And in case if there is any eventuality of, elections being advanced, then it should be prepared for it. And at the same time, the BJP itself has been faction-ridden. So right now it has got some breather in terms of the political crisis that has been unfolding in Congress. So would you like to add?
So coming to that AAP question, AAP right now hardly has any presence in Rajasthan.
Right.
But much would depend on how it performs in Gujarat. So if it is able to emerge even as the principal opposition party replacing the Congress, then the kind of what you call in politics hawa it will generate, the momentum it will generate. And mind you, your Rajasthan election is about 14 months from now. So AAP will have enough time to project itself as a real alternative. And given if again the Congress continues to mess up the way it is doing in Rajasthan, AAP may get an opportunity, AAP may get its foot in the door.
Right.
And you never know, in 1 year, AAP may make its presence felt in Rajasthan. So that's about AAP. As for Vasundhara Raje, we don't know. BJP will definitely go for collective leadership. BJP is not going to project her as the chief minister candidate. I think that's almost a given.
Right.
How she reacts, how things go about, that will know. But as for any threat to this government now, right now I don't really see any threat, because I don't really see either Sachin Pilot or Ashok Gehlot walking out of the party with a group of MLAs. So how they handle things internally is different. But right now, it doesn't look like that there would be any defections. Yes.
Aditya wants to know, if Congress fails to do well in the upcoming assembly elections in 2022, which is Himachal and Gujarat, and 2023 in various states, can we see Rahul Gandhi or anyone from the Gandhi family taking a party presidency before Lok Sabha elections in 2020?
Two things. First, let me talk about a conspiracy theory which is doing the rounds in the Congress. So only yesterday last night, I was sitting with some Congress leaders, and the conspiracy theory that is doing the round is the idea was to install Ashok Gehlot as the Congress president. After a few months, he would be asked to resign. And then, CWC decides that, okay, he has resigned, so all the CWC members will come together and bring Rahul Gandhi back as the next Congress president. That would leave Gehlot nowhere. He would not be the Rajasthan CM, and he won't be the Congress president. Right. That's a conspiracy theory. But go back to 98 when Sitaram Kesri was ousted. Again, 98, in 97 when Sonia Gandhi had joined the election campaign for the party. Until then, she had refused to join politics. When she launched the party's campaign from Sri Perumbudur, if you remember. And then after that, she addressed dozens of rallies across the country. She became the face of the Congress in 98. But when the results came, Congress's tally came down to 141. Then the entire blame was actually thrust on Sitaram Kesri, that because of him, Sonia provided such a dynamic leadership, Sitaram Kesri failed. And with that excuse, CWC met, passed a resolution, removing Kesri as the Congress president and installing Sonia Gandhi.
Right.
So that's always possible. When you lose elections, obviously there would be a set of leaders or loyalists of the Gandhis who would be putting pressure on you. But these are hypothetical questions. So we don't know. Again, I'm talking about what happened in 98. I'm talking about a conspiracy theory. But none of this is coming from any actions or words which are being spoken or done right now. Why this conspiracy theory is getting traction? Because before the election started, this entire election process rolled on.
For the president
for the president's election, the Central Election Authority of the Congress decided that, okay, they sent PROs that, to all the state capitals, and there they decided to pass resolutions authorizing the Congress president to nominate AICC members. Now, AICC members elect CWC members. So why would you want that nomination? Even if somebody else is the next president, why do you want this nomination culture to continue? You could have gone for elections.
Right.
They also wanted to authorize the next president, and it did not say next president, the president, to nominate even PCC chiefs.
Right.
Why do you do that? There is no reason. When a new president is coming and you have an election process underway, go through the entire process.
Abhishek, can you give us some inputs as to what can we expect, in Rajasthan, considering there's a lot of political activities that are going on there?
The Congress chief Sonia Gandhi has sought a detailed report from the two observers, Mr. Maken and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. They were the ones who were acting as the high command immediates in Rajasthan, and they had detailed discussions with the Pro Gehlot, with the Rajasthan MLAs here. So now they are supposed to submit the report by Tuesday night. So a lot depends on what happens after that. I mean, how the high command reacts to that. So a lot of things on the ground would depend on that.
Well, we'll wait for your ground reportage. I'll end with this question. Aditya wants to know, what would be a bigger loss for the Congress party? Ashok Gehlot not becoming the Congress chief, or Sachin Pilot leaving the party in case he does? And after this incident, will Gandhi family try not to make Ashok Gehlot the president of the party? You have partially answered it, but if you could...
Yeah, loss, I would talk because hypothetical. We still don't know, although it looks like that Gehlot is not going to be the next Congress president.
But what does it mean for Sachin Pilot also, if you could?
Sachin Pilot is in a pretty good situation right now because he has the backing of the Gandhis, and we don't know how things will unfold in coming hours and days, but it looks like that all these MLAs who are on the rebellious path right now, they may come around.
Right.
And even if somebody else is installed as a kind of as a compromise formula, I think Sachin will be rewarded by the Gandhis for his patience and for being silent, and especially because Gehlot has taken such a contra high command line, I would say, in the selection of the new CM. Difficult to predict how the Gandhis would be treating him from now on. They are supposed to be very upset, and they have not even... I'm told that he has sought an appointment with the Gandhis, but the appointment has not been granted yet. But the fact is, he has been a Congress loyalist for over 4 decades. So Gandhis would keep that also in mind. So I will not be talking in terms of loss right now because it will be very speculative. But, sorry, the second part of the question was...
After this incident, will Gandhi family try not to make Ashok Gehlot the president?
Yeah, that we have to see. We don't know because, look, a defiant leader who is going to be the next Congress president would really worry the Gandhis, because right now he has shown his defiance. Until a couple of days back, he was one of your best loyalists who always stood by the family. Now suddenly you see that defiance. That alarms you, because if he becomes the Congress president and shows the same defiance to you, where would the Gandhis go? So they would be apprehensive for sure. But then whether they would treat this episode as just an aberration or some kind of a fight between him and Sachin, or would they treat it as a clear indication of his defiance? Gandhi family's approach vis-a-vis Gehlot's nomination will depend on how they look at what has happened in Rajasthan in this case.
Well, thank you so much for this detailed analysis, though you don't want to be called an analyst. Thank you, Abhishek, for joining. And well, the presidential elections have definitely become quite interesting. And next week, we will be back with yet another political topic. Thank you.
Thank you.